Hello, everyone. It's time for Vanished Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. I'm your host, Pete Costanis, and this is episode 350, season 14. Today's date is July 27th, 2024, and welcome to the show. I want to apologize for not doing it this past Tuesday. Something came up, and there were some glitches with the episode, and I said, the heck with it, and I'll just do it another day. So today's the day. All right. On today's program, we're going to do something very special, and this is a milestone episode, and it's about the 60th anniversary of the television series Ray Rayner and Friends, starring Ray Rayner, that aired on WGN-TV Channel 9 in Chicago. Oh, I'm looking forward to this because I had so many memories of this show, and that's the only thing I will talk about. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I hope you enjoy it. I hope so. Right now, the program will go into a commercial break, and this program is brought to you by Nerf Balls. That didn't come out right. Anyway, actually, it's Nerf Football. Yeah, do you remember that? You know, they're soft and squishy. You squeeze them. So this commercial is from 1980. So sit back and relax, and I will be right back with the program, folks. Thank you.
Nerf Football, rah, rah, rah. You can watch it go. Nerf Football, rah, rah, rah. Easy to catch and throw. You can go for the long bomb. Punt and retrieve. It's easy to grip when you pass or receive. Nerf Football, rah, rah, rah. You can watch it go.
Nerf Football from Parker Brothers.
Okay, everyone, I am back. I hope you enjoyed the commercial for Nerf Football. Anyone during the 70s and 80s later on too, used to play with this toy. There were other Nerf balls as well. There was not just football. There was basketball. I don't know about baseball, probably, or table tennis or something like that. But I remember the football mostly, and the basketball. I remember when I was a kid, I played in my old neighborhood. Someone would have a Nerf football, and we'd play football on the street. The thing is, it was very soft, and then when you catch it or you get hit on the head, you won't get hurt, you know. But I don't remember anyone complaining like it was better than a regular football. I don't know. But I remember when you toss it in the air and it spins around, it looks kind of cool like that. And it came in different colors like that, and it was nice and soft. I think my brothers had it. I think so. Yeah, I believe so. So Nerf was a toy brand. It was invented by Parker Brothers. It's owned by Hasbro now, and it was made of foam like that. And so they made it for football, basketball, and baseball. And their primary slogan, it was introduced in the 90s, was Nerf or Nothing. Oh, okay. I've been out of touch. I didn't know that. So that was invented in 1969. And the man who created it, the inventor, his name was Reynolds Windsor Geyer, or Ren for short. He came over there, came to the company and said, "Look, I invented this product, and this will eliminate, so none of the kids get hurt and like that." But that was fine, and so they introduced it, and it was very soft, but it won't. I don't know if you toss it and you hit objects in your house, maybe. I don't know. That was yet to determine back then. So, but when you hit it against somebody, it won't get hurt. No, not like a football. No. Some of the commercials I remember seeing when I was little. They featured the monkeys, three of the monkeys. Peter Tork was, because they did a Kool-Aid, and I remembered that. And also they did, there was Nerf Ball, and there was also Super Nerf Ball, and then a basketball game called Nerf Hoop. Like that. And then it was handed to Kenner Products, and then I went to Tonka, and then I went to Hasbro. Oh boy, too many hands, And then they released in '92 the foam Dart Buster. I don't know about that. I was too old back then. Anyway, it's still being made. It's still being made. Okay, that's great. But the commercials were classics. You can't beat that. No. So that's good. Okay. At the beginning of the program, I mentioned I'm going to talk about the 60th anniversary of the TV show Ray Rayner and Friends that aired on WGN-TV Channel 9 in Chicago. Before I get started, I'll mention a thing or two. I noticed lately on my social media accounts, that... I'm trying to be consistent with what I post. People love that. And, you get one or two complaints because I run this account, and a lot of people want to see who I am, want to see, I've said this before. Of course, I get complaints. It goes, nah, we don't want to see your face. We want to see the account. And it's ridiculous. So I just delete them, ignore them, and just move on. I don't want to bother. I don't get it. What's wrong with me? I mean, I run it. The people want to identify with me. Okay, that's fine. So I just move on. I will continue to do that. Whenever I feel like. As for my health, everything's fine. Doctor's visits will start next month, and I will keep you posted to that. Let's see what else. One more thing. I mentioned on a post that I will have something like a surprise in a few weeks. I do have a surprise, and it's very good news. I'll give you a hint. It has something to do with my health, so I won't reveal it until it happens. It will happen maybe next month or the following month. And I hope it goes through because you never know. It might change or, fall apart. But it's going to happen. I'm very excited. So that's good. Yeah. I like that. Okay, let's get started with Ray Rayner. I love this guy. I miss him so much. We all miss him because he was a wonderful entertainer. He was a Chicago institution, and his legacy lives on. So I'm not going to talk about much about his biography. I'm going to talk about mostly the show because he started 60 years ago. But technically, I'll get to that because the show didn't really start in 1964. No, not really. He joined. They renamed it after him like that. Well, I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so I'll explain. I'll do my best. And I'll talk about memories of watching Ray Rayner on TV. One of the earliest and the funniest. So let's get going. Okay. So Ray Rayner, he was born Raymond M. Rayner. I think that's how you pronounce his name. So I think I believe they dropped the H and put an A on his name. So that's what happened. And he was born July 23rd, 1919. And he grew up in New York, in Queens. And he attended the College of Holy Cross in Worcester, Massachusetts. And his first media job was at a radio station at Freeport. It was like a town in Long Island. And he attended night school at Fordham University. That's up in the Bronx. I have a friend of mine who goes there. Then he enlisted in the Army Air Forces. And a lot of people mentioned about his. How should I say this? His what happened there. I'll get to that in a second. What he was in the Army Air Forces, and he served as a navigator of a B-17. That's it's a heavy bomber aircraft during World War II, and he was shot down over France on April 3rd, 1943. And he was during about two and a half years, he was a POW, prisoner of war. And it was from the Stalag Luft Third, so it was like a camp or something like that, I think. And it's like that's like from the Great Escape, from the movie. Then he was transferred to another camp, and then he escaped. So that's great. Oh my God, that must have been awful. And then he got out of that, and then he returned to the United States, and then he started working in Michigan, in Grand Rapids, in radio, and then New York, and Dayton, Ohio, and then then he got hired in Chicago on WBKB. Now, this is not Channel 7, this is Channel 2. Well, that's a long story with that. And he became, so that was, I think it was Channel 4 first, then Channel 2. And he became a staff announcer. And then the first show he worked at was called Rayner Shine in 1953. And that's the first time he worked with puppets. And he provided the show for the Mole Queens. You remember them? Yeah, I did a podcast episode about Elaine Mulqueen and the puppets. Maybe I'll do another one again. Then he got his own show called The Ray Rayner Show in 1953. And he had a co-host named Mina Kolb. And it was like a variety show. Had music, comedy, dance. It was toward younger people. Ran about 5 years. And then he switched to children's program, when they're smaller, like that. And he changed it to The Little Show. And then it was kind of like Ray Rayner and Friends. He had a duck. The duck's name was Havelock, not you-know-who. I'll get to that. And it ran a couple of years. Then he hosted Popeye's Firehouse as Chief Abernathy for a couple of years. I don't remember that. That was before my time. And then in 1961, he moved to Channel 9, and the rest was history. And his first role was not what you may think. And then I'm not sure when he started, because in 1961, he started in Bozo Circus as Oliver or Oliver, and also Sergeant Pettibone on the Dick Tracy Show. And he was a host of the cartoons. They had that. And he had a sidekick. It was a puppet. His name was Tracer, and he was like in a basket. And he was Ray Rayner dressed up as like a police sergeant in a police station, and that was kind of cool, like that. And so then he did double duty with that, and so all through the 60s, and then all of a sudden he got offered to host Bugs Bunny and Friends, another TV show that was first hosted by Dick Coughlin. What I know about him is he was on the radio on WGN. I don't know much about him. I tried to research him. I don't know what happened to him after that. And then he stepped down, I guess. And then first it was called Breakfast with Bugs Bunny. So they showed mostly the Warner Brother cartoons, and they did that all the way to the end. And then it was remained in 1964 with Ray Rayner and Friends. So that's where you got that. Okay. So he hosted a show, and let's see. So it featured cartoons, of course, mostly Warner Brothers, but they added more, like from Hanna-Barbera, like, for example, Yogi Bear. What's the other one? Snagglepuss, Quick Draw McGraw, Augie Dougie, and Daddy. You remember those? Also, later on, they showed Batman, the animated series, not the one from the 1990s, the one late 60s, and that was kind of cool. And I don't know what else they showed. I don't remember. But most of the time, people remember he did a lot of arts and crafts, and sometimes by himself, or he invited a guest, and they do it together. And sometimes it came out flawlessly, and other times no, he just bombed and it fell apart, which was great. It was natural. It was funny like that. And also, there were two characters. I'm glad you're waiting for those. That were so memorable. One, of course, was Chelveston the Duck. And Chelveston was named after the Royal Air Force Chelveston, and that was from England. It was a Royal Air Force station right near London, right about above, not above, but nearby, like that. And Ray Rayner was stationed there. How about that? Chelveston, according to some sources, he was from the pet store Animal Kingdom that was located on North Milwaukee Avenue, I think around the Logan Square neighborhood, I believe. And that place was fascinating. They had live animals when you entered the pet shop. A lot of people complained because of the treatments they got, but it was kind of cool. I've never been to this place. I would love to see it. And I forgot the owner's name or the person that was the manager. He sent me a book about it, and I read it, and it was wonderful. It's experiences. I want to thank him for that. And that was in business for a long time. Anyway, so Chelveston, that was his home. He didn't stay at probably his trainer or the caretaker that brought him on the set. And, he wasn't well trained, according to what you saw on television. So he... my favorite is that when they introduce him, and then Ray Rayner would say, Chelveston the Duck, and then he would come out flapping his wings, his white wings. He would quack occasionally like that, and he would take a bath. He would eat. I love when he took a bath. It was hilarious like that. And he always bit Ray Rayner on the leg and all that. He was a very ferocious duck, so he was hungry all the time, and what he ate mostly was, I guess, lettuce or Rice Krispies or something mostly lettuce. I remember, and I remember Ray Rayner would, feed him lettuce and all that, and he would walk around and all that. Sometimes he was very calm and very cooperative. Other times, no, it was just not that way. No. He was like I said. He was very rambunctious, and but he was very patient. Ray Rayner was very patient with him. So there were 4 different ducks over the years. It was not just one. Ducks don't live that long like that. And he was saying, so a lot of people just remember the duck. And I remember him. My brothers remember him. We watched him in the morning, and he was very entertaining. So that was kind of cool, like that. Okay. So, so there's pictures of him, with Ray Rayner and Chelveston. There was, he's trying to hold him like that. It's funny. Oh my God. Okay. Right now, let's take a quick break, and then after I come back from the break, I will talk about the other character that's the most popular. I don't know if they're equally popular between Chelveston and, of course, Cuddley Dudley. So when I come back, I'll talk about Cuddley Dudley. Okay, so just sit back and relax, and I'll be right back, folks. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I'm back. Right now, I'm going to talk about Cuddley Dudley. I did a podcast episode about Cuddley Dudley. I didn't do one about Chelveston. Maybe I should have a long time ago, but that's okay. Maybe down the road. Anyway, for Cuddley Dudley, he was a talking dog puppet created and voiced by Roy Brown, which we all know from he as Cookie the Cook from Bozo's Circus and the Bozo Show. And he was the most popular. I think he was the most popular character, but I think it was neck and neck with Chelveston. He got a lot of viewer mail like that, or and some kids send in some hand drawn pictures, and they were selected and they were shown on the on television like that. And sometimes they were funny, and sometimes I don't know the song by hand, but it's on our way to Cuddley Dudley's house, like that. And Ray Rayner would ring the doorbell. Yeah, Cuddley Dudley had his own house, and then Cuddley Dudley would come out. Those puppets, they became in dolls, and they were sponsored by the Chicago Tribune, and that was like around the mid-'60s, and they were sold when you for new subscriptions, I believe, and it worked. And there's still some around. You can find them on eBay, but they cost a fortune. And I would love to get one. I really do. Anyway, so they told jokes to each other, and I love when Cuddley Dudley will laugh, like that. So that's funny, like that. And he was around forever, like that. So that's cool. Anyway, as for Ray Rayner, he always wore a jumpsuit covered with small pieces of paper, like Post-it notes. Maybe he invented that, So he would take a Post-it note, a piece of paper, and then it's like a reminder to tell him what's next on the program. Maybe a commercial, maybe a cartoon, maybe a visit from Chelveston, or a guest that would do. And he also did the traffic reports over WGN radio. During the baseball season, he would narrate highlights of the Cubs and White Sox from the previous day, wearing a custom sewn ball cap. One half has the Cubs, one had the White Sox. I remember that, and he did that for the Bears during the season. Well, I don't remember the Bears like that. I don't know if he did that for the Bulls or the Hawks. I'm not sure. Anyway, I remember in the beginning they would show the wall of the clock, it looked like an alarm clock that's ringing. The show started at 7:00 in the morning. Then he had the blackboard or green board, and it showed the weather. What's the weather and the sports scores the day before, or some other things. I don't know what else he showed, but that's what I remembered. And he kept repeating that, which was fascinating. And of course, he would introduce the cartoons, like with Bugs Bunny. They showed a lot of older Bugs Bunny cartoons or other characters, which was fun. They're fun. Now, Me Toons has that. So that's great. That's a new cartoon channel. And like that. Of course, he did the arts and crafts. And every Christmas he would do, until the Christmas holiday, he would do a lip-syncing sketch of an old novelty song called Hello Mudda, Hello Father by Alan Sherman. Hello Mudda, Hello Father. He did that. But there was another popular thing he did that was featured on the show, was called The Ark in the Park. And that was a tape segment that was at the Lincoln Park Zoo by the director of Dr. Lester Fisher. And he would introduce animals and all kinds of animals over there. And it's fascinating like that. When I was a kid, I thought it was a little boring, but now I love it. And in the beginning, the introductory music was, of course, a song, The Unicorn, by a Irish folk group, the Irish Rovers. And you know how that goes. You know, you sing green alligators and long neck geese. Na, 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 na. Also, he featured a how and why segment on his shows. It was from the Chicago's Museum of Science and Industry. He did that on Garfield Goose and Friends also. And then, he did that for many, many years for that. And then, let's see. So, in his spare time, Ray Rayner did live theater, local theater. And he was some of my friends saw him live, and he was great. He was wonderful. He was a busy man, very busy like that. And he wrote books and all that. Then the show ended in 1981. He left Bozo Circus in 1971 because, guess he got some workload off. So the show ended around January 1981, and then Cuddley Dudley moved to, I think, Bozo Circus. I think he did. I'm not sure. I don't know about Chelveston. I don't think so. No. So in 1981, he moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico. And I read somewhere that he was also a weatherman, which was interesting. And he still had the notes pinned on his jacket, just like the coveralls he did. He hosted the PM magazine. Do you remember that show? They had it in Chicago, but he had it in Albuquerque. And he did return from Chicago from time to time, but he really stayed there. And then he moved to Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And then he died on January 21st, 2004. So all his, most of the clips, you can find them on YouTube, courtesy of Fuzzy TV, by Rick Klein, the Museum of Classic Television. And also at the Museum of Broadcasting Communications, And Cuddley Dudley and his doghouse are part of the museum. So there, and Ray Rayner's coveralls, complete with notes, is there too. So if you visit the museum, I think it's closed now for some reason. Maybe they're renovating. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, so the man lived a long life and very interesting life, and he gave us a gift to entertain us, to make us happy. And he was our friend, He was my friend. Sometimes when I was down and out, when you're down and out, lift up your head and shout, I'm down and out. You get that old joke. That was from laughing. He always made me feel welcome and happy like that. So that's good. Anyway, so let's see. So I'm going to take a quick break and I'll be right back. Okay. Thank you. Okay, everyone, I am back. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry to cut off on you. Something came up. So I'm going to wrap up the show real quick. So Ray Rayner was a wonderful entertainer. We miss him, but like I said, his work and the memories live on forever. And that's great. It's wonderful. Okay, that's all for this show. Do a recap of what I talked about. I talked about the 60th anniversary of the television show Ray Rayner and Friends that aired on WGN-TV Channel 9 in Chicago. And this podcast will be published later on today, wherever podcasts are available. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Also be published on my blog, danchicagoland.blog. Also be shared on my social media accounts, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, Reddit, Blue Sky, Threads, Instagram, and TikTok. Okay. I will probably do another podcast tomorrow. We'll see what happens. I have to think about it. It's going to be a while like that. Also, I'm going to continue celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Ray Rayner Show through a story on my blog and also create a video. It's going to take my time. We got plenty of time for that. I'm going to do that. So it'll come up soon. Okay. That's great. All right. So this is Pete Costanis, your host for Vanishing Chicagoland Stories, the podcast. Thank you for joining me. It's a beautiful day, kind of warm, for a Saturday. It's starting to get hot. Like that. Okay. And so here's bye-bye for me. And here's bye-bye from who else? The guest of honor on this show, Ray Rayner, with his traveling music saying bye, bye, bye. Take care, everyone, and so long.
We have to go. Bye, bye, bye.